So as a result of that, I am campaigning to change the election timetable, oh my goodness, to change the timetabling, so it's rather than it being sporadically set out over a week, it's set over 2 or 3 days, which is what we are told local days. But also I would like to have a look at amending the attendance system and also creating a pass plan for those with learning needs, caring responsibilities, parents, carers, commuters, and I'm already in the process of getting commuters cheaper car parking with St Mark's, and this is all students across the campus, so I'm already doing quite a lot of things and got things in place, so it would be really good if somebody could vote for me so I have the chance to do this next year and keep doing what I've already done. Thank you! Oh, and vote for the one with the baby, I'm the one with the baby, but he's in bed right now.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm your current academic societies officer. I would love to be your next student support development officer. I've done a lot in the last few years, especially working with society, academic societies and sports to feel supported and development to great societies and opportunities for students. A few things that I would like to do next year is run financial wellbeing workshops for students to attend, because a big stress right now is the cost of living crisis. It's affecting students majorly from all factors, and I think that if we have financial wellbeing workshops, it will make it so much easier for students to get the most out of their money during their term time. Also continuing to break the stigma budget-friendly recipe kits that the current SAP teams are handing out to ensure that every month or so there is a recipe series, so that if you don't know how to cook before coming to university, you've got these recipes you can view online, you can have it cheap, you can work out how the price is, so it's really easy for you to do. Also, I'd like to expand the Feel Good program, which currently was a free offering for sports and a few arts and crafts, to more music, more arts and crafts, more things like gaming, so that every student has an opportunity to do a free activity that they would like to get involved in to support their well-being and create a support network for them. I've also worked with housing to promote sustainable housing at the university accommodation, as well as promoting the accreditation scheme so that all student housing and accommodation is good and adequate enough for students to live in, and it's not going to make it so awful for them. And with employability, I've created employability workshops and create links to local industries so that students have the opportunity to boost placement opportunities, internships, and other things to ensure that they're easily going into graduate life. Thank you very much.
On that comment. Hi guys, my name's Lewis Parkin. I don't really look like Lewis right now. I'm in drag mode. You may have seen me in some of the local gay bars, and when I say some, I'm the only one. And I'm going to be, hopefully, your next student support development officer. I have written a speech. I've given multiple this day alone, so I don't really need it. I'm running on 4 basic principles, and that is involving you, breaking the stigma, developing equal opportunities, and giving you guys the right to be involved. So I want to tackle the cost of living crisis, and I promise to, if successful, conduct a full review of food prices across campus, be it at the SU or at university, to ensure that students have access to affordable food whilst on the go. On top of that, and this is a big issue that I've had people come to me about today, nobody at the university knows how to start a mortgage. And when I say nobody at the university, I mean at my level as a student. So I want to set up financial wellbeing and security sessions to teach students how to budget, how to shop on a budget, and how to set up a mortgage or an ISA. I also want to break the stigma, and when I say break the stigma, I mean break the stigma around mental health. And that's mental health for everybody. Men, women, LGBT, non-binary, trans people. I want to work with local charities, the advice centres and the SU to support and create workshops for people with key charities such as CALM and Andy's Man Club. Alongside that, I want to work to develop sensory safe zones for students with sensory overload, where these are quiet zones and not just like the university's quiet library, which we all know never really is too quiet. So there's a plethora of things that I'm promising to try and achieve for you guys, and all I need is your confidence and your support. So, vote is number 1 for Student Support Development Officer.
Hi,
I'm a third-year student studying conservation and cultural heritage, and my previous experience includes having part of the student EDI committee and your character supporters officer. The manifesto has 4 main areas: well-being, inclusion, support, and housing. Starting with well-being, it's important to me that all students have access to the spaces and opportunities that prioritise their well-being. I want to develop a working relationship with local mental health services, improve access to green spaces with different passion estates team, and build on the plant-based food options available on campus to allow students to get choices better for themselves. Moving on to inclusion, I know how important it is to have a community where you feel safe and welcome. I want to make it easy for students to try new things throughout the year with a budget system, to try new systems, to try new things throughout the year. I hope to support students in sharing their own cultural events, especially with the winter season, where Christmas is currently especially prioritised. I also want to continue the periodic scheme and expand it with more inclusive and sustainable options. The cost of living crisis is having a big impact on students, so I'll work on developing a feel-good programme to create more localist activities. Students feel a lot of time pressure as well, so developing on-demand resources they can act as and when they need it is a priority in both financial skills such as budgeting and employability skills such as community literacy. Lastly, all students should have safe housing that meets their needs. LGBT plus students have 40 times more interest in LGBT plus only apartments, like the existing single-sex apartments. This is something I'll work on with the accommodation team. Likewise, finding accessible accommodation can be difficult, so I want to work with the SU accredited housing scheme to create accessibility further. Finally, not all students live on campus as we know, or indeed even in Lincoln, and many international and mature students commute to live with family members, so I want to ensure that they are supported too and know what their rights are, especially if they've lived in England for the first time. Wellbeing, inclusion, support, housing, whatever your wish, both win to win.
Hello everyone, so my name is Amelia Hinton, and some of you may recognise me from my role as a college officer or from running the elections last year. I decided to run again this year as Student Support and Development Officer because I'm still very passionate about ensuring that your voice is represented in conversations about wellbeing and support on campus. I'm also aware of many issues and concerns students have had this past year which haven't been rectified, and I want to change this. Firstly, I want to hold a financial fitness campaign to empower you following the recent financial announcements made by the university by giving you tools to help with budgeting and how to make more informed financial decisions. The campaign will also encourage students across campus to seek out available financial aid opportunities and part-time job options to help gain financial stability. Secondly, I want to open up wellbeing services on campus to improve students' mental health, as I personally know how hard it can be to seek out help when you need it. So I want to create more safe spaces across campus and to help and make the process of seeking help more transparent. I also want increased international support to create more of a community on campus by offering feel-good international sessions to help with academic skills development. Plus, I want to host school-specific careers fairs and pop-ups of employers that are more relevant to your degree. I will also work towards the creation of more spaces for students to display their work and showcase their creativity. Furthermore, I want to create a housing hotline so you can easily report issues with your housing, get quick advice and support. And I want to lobby the university for a more fit-for-purpose religious space, as one currently offered to students just isn't suitable for all religious needs. And finally, I want to host more socials and trips for SU reps to help build a stronger community and network. So to help make these ideas become reality and to support positive change on campus, vote Amelia Hinton now to contribute towards building a more supportive university community. Amelia Hinton, your voice, your choice, your vote for better student support. Thank you.
To upskill students in these areas, I would push the Feel Good Sister program. Feel Good program is a really great way for you to boost your social skills, which are putting yourself into a new area of skill that you probably haven't done before for free, which is also boosting your social ability to kind of talk to others, as well as learning new skills and upskilling yourself. A lot of what can be done to upskill people is working with local links in the industry and finding a lot more part-time jobs for students, which is why like part-time officer positions are going to be great, and also working with the Career Centre to run employability series where they can do CV boosting skills and really learn how to sell themselves to a room and learn interview skills to make sure that they can get the part-time jobs that are available, which are somewhat limited in Lincoln, but are available to students to have.
So one of my key manifesto points actually tackles this And this is to provide students with the opportunity to actually develop and empower themselves, and this would be achieved through key skills sessions such as leadership, public speaking, and also other key skills such as communication and teamwork, which are all vital in what is today's part-time job world for us students. You know, student jobs are part-time, they require a lot of fast-paced movement and a lot of communication, and God do I know it as a drag queen. So, you know, it's key that we have these opportunities for students, and these sort of sessions will just really empower students and give them the opportunity to actually develop and rise. But also, I think a key thing that we should be doing as a student union is also supporting students in becoming their own leader and becoming their own business person. So looking into opportunities for the SU to sponsor student-led businesses is something that I think
That's time, thank you.
So I have a few different ways that I would do this. So for the social experiences, one of my main points is activity buddy systems. So people who are worried about starting something new for the first time can be paired up with someone who is designed to support them with accessing the activity. I also want to introduce accessibility training in society, so that societies can be automatically welcoming to new people, especially disabled students who are isolated even now beyond COVID. I also want to introduce employability skills by working with the Career Centre, to especially things like computer literacy, because lots of students don't have those key skills. And also introducing on-demand resources that students can use to learn about things on their own time, because a lot of us are very pushed for time with timetabled activities already, and we often feel that we don't have time to access workshops. Having things on demand will mean that they can do that on their own terms.
So how I tackle this is obviously just to raise awareness firstly for the rep system, because I just don't think people do it enough, and I just want to kind of get, because it's such a big thing for like employment, gives you so many skills, and it's also a really good social thing because you get to work in a network, it starts a community, and I think that's one of my key manifesto points, was to start actually making that more of a thing, because as a rep here I don't have any social, so I just want to open that up more, to open up social experiences for people that might be a bit more shy, just give them a direct opportunity to socialise with others. And for more employment experiences, I think by doing the school-specific careers fairs and pop-ups, will give more specific and tailored employment support and connections that are more relevant to you in your degree. Thank you.
So as a mature student, we've been to work with Experience Live, and a lot of the young students haven't experienced as much as what we have, so it would be really lovely to get a system in place that will allow mature students and the younger students to come together in sort of tutorial. So we have a mature student tutorial and a younger student tutorial, and 3 times a semester or however many that we have, I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm very nervous. They come together and they learn from each other. Younger students know new things, new technologies that are coming out, and they know how to know when a message has gone into the wrong inbox or something. You guys know so much, and the mature students know so much as well, but we've all got different skills and we learn so much better together. And I think by having something in place, I can't think like the name of something in place, then it's just going to bring the communities together, the mature students will know the younger students and vice versa.
I think the one thing that I would want to achieve from my manifesto would be to standardise and equalise the quality of education across the university. We have all got that one lecturer who we absolutely love going to the lectures for, because the quality's there, it's not just a photograph on a slide, and it's accessible to everybody. And then we've got on the flip side that one lecturer whose lectures are just photographs and they won't record upon Opta. So through this, I would want to strive to work with the university to set a standard, a clear standard for education across university, to ensure that education is accessible to all and is of the quality that we are paying for. And that is my one manifesto point that I am dedicated to achieving.
If I could achieve one thing, it would be to support student mental health, because student mental health is at the very heart of everything we do. Without good mental health, we struggle to get involved with the university, we struggle to manage our finances, we struggle with cooking food, we struggle with the basic life essentials. So working with the Wellbeing Centre and local health services to support student mental health would be my top priority.
So for me, the biggest thing on my manifesto, which is also why it's got the longest on my text, is my financial fitness campaign, because I know that the cost of living crisis has just crippled so many students across campus, And you know what, they're raising rent prices, everything's expensive these days, and I just think students aren't well informed on these things. And so I just think by giving you the tools, it's really just going to allow you to take more empowerment around this, because the university is making these decisions without informing us.
Thank you.
So I would make sure that I change the timetabling, because whether you're a mature student or a younger student, we're all being affected by the sporadicness in the timetabling sessions. For the mature students, it's childcare issues, it's commuting issues, petrol, car parking, travel. For the younger students, I know some of the younger students are having to choose between going to lectures that you're paying for, or eating because you need to go to work to survive, and the university could do so much more to condense the timetable so you can have your work days and your uni days, and that will not only make employment easier because you can give set days, it will make mental health better as well, because you won't be having to make such a big decision every time, a certain time of the month, or so to speak, so it would be sorting out the timetables so they're not there. Thank you.
I think the main key point for my would be the expansion of the Feel Good program. The Feel Good program, I feel like, has a really good benefit to everyone's mental, physical and emotional well-being, as well as in a social setting. It develops your communication skills as well as your team working skills, because you're working through sports. Especially if I expand it to gaming and other like Feel Good classes and Feel Good things, arts and crafts and music. It'll really make sure there's an activity for everyone that's free and accommodates everyone at a specific time where we aren't at a timetable session, and it makes their mental health, their physical health and their social well-being is all affected by it, and it makes it positive.
So at the heart of mental health is things that we can do fairly cheaply. So things like activity-budget system to help students access resources and activities without any financial cost to university, but they can still access things that would improve their mental health. Also things like more support for people who have periods, and therefore, Sorry, the autism is really kicking in right now. So working on green spaces that people can access, having more plant-based food options that people can have that are more low cost, that can then support their mental health. That way they're having good food that they're able to have. And employability skills so they don't feel completely stuck in all of life.
So for me, I really want to open up the wellbeing services on campus, and I know there can be budget cuts that are to come, but I want to make sure that I lobby the university that this doesn't happen, because people's wellbeing is key. And if you're not feeling good about yourself, you're not going to go into university, you're not going to do anything. So yeah, I just want to make sure that they're open and we're talking about things and taking away the stigma about just talking about mental health and making the process of seeking out more transparent. So I just want to make sure that the university doesn't take any funding away from that. So thank you.
My degree is in psychology, so I know how important mental health is. I will hope to use everything that I've learned on my degree over the last 3 years to stress the importance of not only keeping the mental health but also greatly improving it as well with cost-efficient ways across the university, because it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It's already been said, we just need open conversations. We need to let people know that it's okay to not be okay and get that message across the campus. But then we do also need the support in place, and I think making improvements to the student well-being, because it's amazing how many people do not know that they could have a past plan until the 3rd year and all of this stuff that they're missing out on. So making sure that the message is communicated in lecturers, through the students, through the student union, through the whole university community, just spreading the word that mental health is important and we are here, and making sure there's things that everybody can do that is accessible for every single student at
Last time, then.
I feel a little bit like a broken record, but using the resources that already happened, we've got Feel Good, and it's a free program, and it's run by volunteer students who are already part of their societies, already part of their sports teams, already part of activities that can be used as Feel Good activities for one-offs or as a continual thing, as well as lobbying the university to make sure that there is no cuts in student lobbying, to make sure that the cuts are being used elsewhere, making as much looking at the budget, making sure that they are not missing things out that they can definitely cut instead, because the student wellbeing is at the forefront of our education, and I feel like if the students aren't supported and the students aren't feeling that they can go to university, they won't access anything else. They won't be able to access their lectures, they won't be able to access the stuff that might look snazzy and appeal to students, but they won't be able to access about student wellbeing support things. So I will use the feel good system as well as the web network and everything else that we've been put in place that has the resources already.
Thank you, fellow trustees, for this nice little curveball. I want to echo what the candidates have said about accessing and utilising that already free feel-good programme that already exists. But I think another thing that we need to look into is other low-cost alternatives to providing adequate mental health support to students.
So, a big part of my campaign at the moment is just making TikToks, is getting out there, and actually I really kind of missed that last year. Some of the student leaders were making daily TikToks and weekly rundowns, and I think that it would be nice to bring that back next year, just to kind of collaborate together and sort of just go break down what we're doing on a daily basis and on a weekly basis, because you don't always know what the VPs and everyone's getting up to, so it would be nice, I think, to just have that kind of almost recognition on a weekly basis so you know what everyone's getting up to.
So I believe making sure that we're going out and speaking to students across campus, just randomly, different times of day, different areas of the uni, making our faces known, making who we are known, and seeing what students are feeling. Are they having a good day? Is there anything that's bothering them? Just showing that you care. And I just had something come into my head, and then it's like flew like a butterfly away. Oh no. And then, what was the it's not on the board. So it was
different cohorts, making sure they can see.
Yes, making sure that you can be seen by all the different cohorts and everything. And it's gone, and the more that I'm trying to think about it, the more that it goes away. But it's a really good idea, and I might just have to put it on a poster so we can get it out to you. Talking to people, lectures, going into lectures more and more, because I don't know if we don't get many lecturers coming to the SU and let them know who they are and what we're doing. So just coming into the lecture and saying, this is what we're doing this week, who wants to come, this is what we're doing at Craft.
Last time.
I use like a hybrid approach of using the TikToks, all our social media channels to make sure that they're actively being posted on them every day. Collaborations with the other sabbatical officers as well as the part-time officers to make sure that they're all being seen from all different areas, from different schools, different colleges, and different years in those colleges, as well as the postgrad students. I'll be using the sports actor societies, they're hosting Instagram, going to their events to see what feedback I can get from them, considering they span every year of the university from first year all the way up to postgrad. And I will also collab and work with the quiz department to see how well we can make our social media campaigns pop even harder.
So a big thing that's popped into mind for me is that as candidates, we're going out daily. Like today, I was up at 6 AM putting myself in drag, and I was out all day. And it's that effort that I think I would bring back in. It's that going out and talking to students, going out into lectures, going out into seminars, and making myself visible and making students feel as though that they've got that visible person throughout their entire academic time at university. I also think it's key to utilise the entirety of the officer system throughout university, be that other sabbatical officers, and be that the entirety of the other student leaders. You know, it is key that we are out there, and if successful, there will not be a moment unless I am writing a document that I will be in that office, I will be going out and speaking, and I will be doing my best to make sure that students feel represented.
So first of all, I would use social media more effectively, because right now we have social media accounts, but we get to reach with people who are already engaged, not the ones who aren't engaging. So to get people, more people engaged, I would try and get out on campus more, as other people have said, and use polls to get feedback quickly and easily. I'd also try to streamline email communication so that it caters to people's interests. Not everyone cares about that, and that's fine, but some people care about volunteering, they might care about the activities we have going on. So streamlining communication and tailoring it to people's actual interests to make sure that they then get the opportunities that they need to get. Community spirit by working together and individual people who are struggling. I think the student union should have, and I've said this before to the School of Psychology, that we should have a dedicated person in the student union who could either come in and do a weekly open door thing where you have an appointment and you come in and they know everything. So you have Citizens Advice Bureau who can give you advice on your debts and your renting, and they can offer you anything, like lots of help with different things. So I think it would be really helpful for the university to have somebody, not quite citizens advice, but something along those lines, and they can help somebody with learning how the benefit system works. They can help somebody if they've got into a little bit debt. They can help somebody who needs to access the food banks or with their budgeting or something. So there's just a dedicated person there to help the students. And I understand because of the budgeting and stuff that this may sort of be quite limited with funding, but it could just be a volunteer through who we contact through the CAB or someone from the university who knows already.
I will start with boosting the employability options and the employability skills sessions that we can work on them so they can help boost their skills, have their CVs ready, so that any part-time work that is offered them they can help with. I've also lobbied the university to make sure the financial hardship fund isn't reduced in any way possible for students to access, to make sure that that's still available for students next year so they can access it if they're in extreme hardship with their finances. Also campaign to make sure that work with the food banks and any local links to industry, which are giving like too good to go bags and stuff like that to make sure that students have access to food that they will need it.
It's going to sound like a broken record, but a key thing I'm standing for is financial security for students hit hard by the cost of living crisis. And I think some of the big things that we could do as a university and as a student union is provide students with, I don't know, let's say a clear set list of an affordable student shopping budget that will allow them to make the most of what they've got in their bank account relative to what student loan they get. I also think these sessions that I spoke about previously about financial security, about employability skills, and about actually giving students the opportunity to get out into local industry, to get out and become a local business owner, a student business owner, and just empowering students to have that ability to become financially independent, because a lot of students feel as though they either have to rely on themselves or potentially have to ask a parent, and that needs to stop and it needs to end.
So in terms of financial support, obviously the on-demand resources that students can use as and when they need them, because it's sometimes scary to try and approach other people to ask for help, but if you can start that very first step by yourself, then that might help you then access things later down the line. I'd also raise awareness of things like the food bank and things like the bike rental scheme, which students just don't seem to know about, but are a more affordable way to get transport. I'd also work with the Career Centre with job searching for part-time jobs, and I try to implement more support for strange students who can't rely on parents for extra help.
So for me, as part of my financial fitness campaign, it was to sort of raise awareness of available financial aid opportunities and part-time job options. So I think by helping students kind of get part-time jobs and know what where they can actually get financial aid, that will help them through this cost of living crisis, and also awareness of the food bank that the SU currently has. But I want to create a housing hotline, and I know that with the rising rent prices and the current cost of living crisis, a lot of people are moving into inadequate housing. So I wanted to create a housing hotline so that students can individually get instant advice and support by sending in photos of their current living conditions. If anything's wrong, they can get instant advice. So I think that would individually help every student that's in a difficult housing situation. Thank you.
Over the past 2 years as Academic Societies Officer, I've got a lot of things done. I've worked and collaborated with everyone and made sure that academic societies weren't disregarded, they were in perfect view and in the same line as sports and societies and the university, and that I will get things done as Student Support and Development Officer. I will work my hardest to make sure that everything in my manifesto, the sexual health campaigns, the mental health first aid qualifications, as well as the housing and the financial wellbeing things, are done, and make sure that they are done as best as I can, because I work hard every day to make sure that everyone is represented and supported the way they want.
Over the last 4 years of being a University of Lincoln student, from being a student nurse, representing my fellow nurses as social set for nursing, all throughout my time as a biomed student and as a local drag queen, activist for LGBT rights, non-binary rights and trans rights, I have been able to develop a clear understanding into key social issues, key economic issues, and issues that face everybody, no matter of sexuality, political alignment. I can deliver on most, if not all, of my manifesto points, actually all of them, because they're all realistic. I am the candidate that will genuinely be out there day in, day out, being there for you, being that voice, being visible, and I hope that you guys put your trust in me to empower you, to elevate you, and to equalise your standard of education at the University of Lincoln. So Lewis, number 1 for Student Support Development Officer.
Student wellbeing is at the very heart of my campaign, as it's encompassed in all of my ideas. Supporting student finances, having safe and inclusive housing, being able to access opportunities and inclusive resources all improves our well-being and allows us to better engage with university life. I want all students to feel supported. Isolation is a huge issue for many students, including mature students, commuting students and disabled students. It's one thing to get a foot in the door, but quite another to break down the barriers and stop people even getting there. I strongly believe that improvements made for one group will benefit other groups as well. In making student life more accessible and inclusive, all students can be supported and helped develop in whatever ways make most sense to them. Remember, well-being, inclusion, support, housing, whatever your wish, vote when to win.
So I would like to end tonight by saying that for being a student myself, I know this year has been tough in more ways than one, especially with the current financial issues facing students today, which has had a big impact on students' mental health and overall experience whilst at university. But I'm confident that my ideas will be the push towards getting better student support on campus. And by trusting me of your vote, you will be voting for positive change on campus and will be contributing towards building a more supportive university community. Thank you very much.
So a vote for me isn't just a vote, it's a chance to have your opinion shared and your voice heard and all those niggly little things that you thought, oh my god, I'm the only one that feels this, you're not. And I don't think anybody would get that more than a mature student, because we've not only got work experience and life experience, I've also experienced uni alongside you, so I get the stress of trying to juggle everything else that you've got ongoing, not just children, just work, just life happens. And I think by voting for me, you're going to get somebody who actually cares. Not that these guys don't care, like they all care, these are all amazing, but you know, you're going to get somebody who cares and who's passionate. And I've already done so many things and got so many things in place already, that the chance to vote for me and give me this opportunity, I can do so much more for each and every student. So vote for Charlotte, vote for the one with the baby, because if I can do uni with a newborn baby, then surely I can do this as a student support officer. Thank you.
If you don't already know me, I'm the coordinator of the activities for this year, and I'm running to be a student communities officer for next year. I've broken up my manifesto into kind of like 6 key points, so I'm just going to run through them all really quickly. So first is facilities. So we have a lot of feedback about kind of like sports centre facilities, how they're not quite fit for purpose, but also we've had problems with kind of building over the times, and that doesn't really provide academic societies or societies with the same sort of facility as sports, so that's something I want to look into. Also, activity funding has been such a struggle during the cost of living. So introducing funding workshops and talking to sports and societies about how they can keep their balances up is something I want to do. Increasing recognition for sports societies and academic societies is huge as well. Increasing books visibility, but also increasing the recognition for non-book sports and societies. Mental health as well, how we can support mental health on campus and how we can use the facilities that are available to us to do that. Expanding our cultural events, because our intake of international students and our demographic changes every year. So we need to keep on top of what we're offering and making sure that the SU stays student-led. Are kind of the main 6 points. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. So I'm going to sound like a broken record this whole time, but the cost of living has been massive last year, particularly. That's a massive barrier in helping students be able to join societies, join sports, join their academic societies, because they just can't afford to. So that's huge and it's something we need to tackle. Also, transcript on campus is not what it should be. So these communities of students that we're bringing into the university that then aren't getting that support that they need to be able to fit in and be able to do what they need to do to study and continue with their life around university isn't really there. So there's kind of a lot of things to tackle, but mental health is also a huge one. There's loads and loads of things, so I've not got time to go through them all, but there's loads we can do to help with them, and there's loads that we have already done this year that I'd like to continue. Okay, so my favourite thing that we've done this year as a SAP team is break the stigma. So what we've done is we've basically made like, what's the word for it? Do you know like Hello Fresh kits? We've basically made like meal kits that we've been giving out to students to kind of help them with the cost of living. And I think mental health in a time like this is so important. If there's one thing that I can do, I want to be able to help students feel like they're part of their community and feel like they've got somewhere that they can go for help. So whether that's signposting to the food bank, working with Feel Good, working with Thoughtful Thursdays, and kind of helping students get over that barrier of affordability and being able to talk about things. That's the biggest thing I want to do, and we've got so many means to do that, so that's something that's definitely achievable, and I'll be doing huge things on next year if I'm elected. Thank you. So the first thing that I would do is make sure that this is embedded into the committee training for the start of the year. So when handover happens on 1st of July, societies committees have training that they have to complete, it's all online, and I would make sure that this is implemented and it's embedded in there. But also when we have in-person training next year, make sure that this is one of their breakout rooms that students have to attend. They have to know what they're talking about and they can feed it back down into their societies. It's all about like using networks, so it's all good and well for committees to know, but they need to make sure that that's filtered down to its members too. So making sure that all that in-person training is there for them to be able to answer questions face to face, talk to each other, find out what other sports and societies are doing about it. And then also making sure that they know to provide them safe spaces. So if we are going to have a speaker that comes in that's potentially going to cause any upset or offence, there's a safe space there to counter that. So there's going to be no conflict, but students have somewhere to go no matter what their beliefs or political, like, they have somewhere to go.
That's your time.
Website, so making sure that they're really visible, students know where to access them, but also working with the officers to make sure that their reports are easy reads, because no student wants to go through and read two sides of what someone's been talking about for the last month. If they can have a really succinct, easy way to look at that. So making sure that they're really easy to engage with, but also making sure that officers' faces are out there, they're on screens, they're going out and they're speaking to students, making sure that that's really part of their training and they've got something that they can identify with. And especially considering we've got the officer restructure this year, making that really visible and making it exciting and fresh for students, rather than just droning around going and speaking to your officers. I think will make a huge difference. Okay, so something I want to do is in my manifesto is create funding workshops for societies. So basically have like full days where committees can just come in and we can brainstorm ways that they can make money. So loads of something that I've seen this year is loads of societies are getting sponsorships with places where they can get a night out or places where they can get drinks deals, but not many societies are being able to find out monetary sponsorships. So if we're making them connections, we need to make sure that we're making them visible to students and kind of finding a way that they can get through to them. Also things like fundraising, what's a good fundraiser, how to reach the most people, how to reach different audiences, because trying to fundraise for students in times like this isn't going to be the best way to do it. So how do we reach family, friends, how do we reach grandparents, things like that, and making sure that's all in like a really easy, accessible training session for societies. Thank you so much for listening to my voice for 5 minutes. So like I said, I've got an Instagram, it's kind of for student communities. It breaks down my manifesto, everything that I want to do, but also things that I have done in the last year. So you'll kind of see why you should vote for me. I'm going to be around for like the next half an hour, so if you want to come and ask any questions, you're more than welcome to do so. But I've done loads of things this last year that would have made a difference. So like breakfasting for meal kits, lobbying the sports centre to fix the scoreboards, talking about facilities on campus, and doing loads of things around Feel Good, and opening them sessions up to loads of different people. So if you want to know more, head over to my Instagram and I'll be around to ask questions too.
Why should you vote for me? Well, I don't. I can't get inside your house. But I can give you some ideas at least. Maybe you've never seen someone like me. I have autism. I'm mixed race. What am I meant to do? Has anyone ever thought how representative is representation? When you look at Parliament, is it what demographic do you see? Is it your own demographic? Is it a mixed demographic? Does it represent people at all? I don't know, but I'd like to find out, and I'd like you to vote to help find out. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, if you don't know me already, my name is Amelia and I am one of your current College of Arts officers. College of Arts, Social Sciences and Humanities officer. COASH for short. Why should you vote for me? Well, first of all, in my manifesto there is lots of stuff that supports student representation and what we stand for here at the Student Union, as well as some of the things that the university stands for. Because within this role, your key role is to be that connecting point between the university, which is the institution, and here the Student Union, which is where us as students are. So yeah, thank you very much. With my experience this year, we have found that a lot of what happens with students is caused by communication issues. Therefore, I think the main focus for the executive committee would be how we tell students things. No matter what those things are, it's how we communicate things to students, because without that, we don't get very far.
So from my perspective, communication is important, yes, but how do we actually ensure students know how communication works? How do we make sure that a student can see the communication trail? I mean, if we have a paper trail, how do you find the initial point to start following it? So how do we make sure that representation is actually traceable? So I would argue that tracing and traceability of feedback, communication, and just in general, how the SU speaks can be back, a student can trace through. How does my feedback go in? What comes out? Thank you. So this is quite relevant to my own manifesto. And I've already mentioned, I belong to several minority groups. For instance, my dad's Chinese, he's from Hong Kong originally, so laid out to everyone who knows Cantonese. Anyway, so to ensure underrepresented groups are able to have feedback, what about if we just make reps approachable? Encourage underrepresented groups to actually become reps, and also try and actually communicate not just in English. Make sure that students are comfortable even if their English isn't great. I mean, my dad, when he arrived, he didn't speak much English in 1974, but he learned it. But how long does it take to learn? And when you're learning, what support do you need? We have the international college, but how do we actually ensure that students know how to tie the international college to the rep system? And I'd argue we should make sure that reps are able to be from...
Last time, thank you.
So with the new governance, which hopefully you all know about by now, there will be student experience officers, and in order to get feedback from all groups, not just underrepresented groups, we want to be using that system as well as possible. Therefore, if that is successful, we will get feedback from across the board, which is what we would like. Thank you very much. I think this kind of sums up a lot of what I've already said tonight, but communication, along with communication from what would be our sabbatical officers, communication in that executive committee, and communication with that trustee board. So the members, which would be your student leaders, who sit across all of these panels, all of these groups, and are part of everything, are the key members to ensuring that that part-time officer structure works, because they're a part of it all, and it's knowing who those people are who are involved, which will make this work.
So I would hold that, again, this is kind of both an accountability issue as well as a question of effectiveness. And how do students know they're effective? Well, I'll argue that we should have a system, we should encourage students to either make meetings public, i.e. students can actually view either as observers or as active participants, sort of whether or not they're actually sort of elected to certain roles. We should at least have an open door policy within reason. And I've also argued that to ensure transparency, so for instance, a lot of minutes are currently private. I would argue that within the meeting should be able to agree to publish partial minutes of the meeting contents. So I'll say that.
So the question is about the sense of community within our part-time officers. Funnily enough, this is one of my main parts of my manifesto. So as somebody who has been a rep, as a course rep, community is really important. So I would want to build that by creating a safe, friendly, open environment, which firstly is built off of the initial training. So ensuring that that initial training is fun and kind of inclusive would be what allows me to support that community.
So, from my perspective, I'd argue that to create a community around reps, around officers, is very much a question of gathering the people together, either physically or virtually. We already have the rep clubs, but I would argue that we should have more public, basically make the reps public, i.e. reps to have almost like a meeting point every week where reps go and just can discuss anything on their minds, not necessarily just course related or academic related, just a more general, so like a rep common room or a social time and space where reps can be encouraged to gather and just effectively talk among themselves and build a community organically. So I would argue that the student experience officers should arguably be allowed to should arguably be given slightly expanded sort of coverage. So student experience officers could be almost grouped into, say, 3 areas, each of which would then have sort of responsibility for one particular field. So one group for academic societies, one for societies, and one for sports. And that would be grouped by students' own personal interests.
So I think this would be very personal, dependent on who we have come in as our student experience officers. And I think it's all encompassed within the name student experience as well, because that isn't just academics, that is anything on campus, and so anything that you experience within university. So I think finding out who our officers are from the get-go and finding out what they're passionate about will be where the SAPs as a whole team support those students. And I think it's the support from all of the new sabbatical officers which will be what's important in ensuring those experienced officers are perfect. Okay, so I have been Amelia, and in the role of student representation officer, and I would really appreciate your vote because my manifesto and my campaign and everything that I stand for within all of the roles I've had is becoming about fostering that sense of community here at LSU.
And I'm Sam. I will say this: human rights, vote. You have the vote, make use of it.